Hi, if you are preparing for an FP&A interview and want to stand out, then this video is for you. What you will learn is how to answer one of the most important and the trickiest question, which is tell me about a time when your forecast helped influence a major business decision. Let me repeat that. Tell me about a time when your forecast helped influence a major business decision. Using the CAR framework or the CAR framework, I will help you translate your forecasting experience into a powerful story that can show impact. Remember, if you get this question wrong, you will sound just like another spreadsheet person. But on the other hand, if you can get this right, you will be seen as a strategic advisor and the kind of person that the companies would want to hire and promote. Now, before we dive into how to answer this question powerfully, let us first understand the different ways this question might actually show up in an FP&A interview. So, here are different ways a forecasting impact question can show up in an FP&A interview setting. Tell me about a time when your forecast influenced a major business decision. How has your forecasting work added value to the business? Can you walk me through a forecast that you have built and what came out as a result of it? Give me an example when your projections led to a change in a business strategy. Describe a situation where your financial analysis or forecasting impacted leadership's business decision. Was there ever a time when your forecast helped the company prevent risk or save money? What's a forecast you are most proud of and why? And finally, how do you measure the success of your forecasting process? On a quick side note, at FP&A Professionals Institute, our mission is to help 1 million professionals master finance and FP&A skills. So if you're serious about FP&A, do check out our certified global FP&A professional program, the CGFPA certification. Link to download the brochure are given in the description below. Also, you can visit our website www.fpnaprofessionals.com or scan the QR code here for a bunch of free resources, including books, courses, and cheat sheets. Now that you know how this question might sound like in an interview setting, let us next talk about why this matters so much and what interviewers are really trying to find out when they ask this question. Imagine this, you are making a forecast that tops a $50 million product launch. Now, eventually, this turns out that your numbers were right and you helped the company save thousands and millions of dollars and resources. Now, imagine you are in an interview setting and the hiring manager asks you, tell me about a time when your forecast had a business impact. In this situation, most people, what I have seen, start talking about technical stuff like Excel or how they build the financial model. But here is the truth, they don't really care about how cool your Excel skills are. What they really care about are four things. Number one, did your forecast change anything for the business? Number two, were your numbers trusted by the business? Number three, did the people act on your advice? And finally, number four, were you confident enough to speak up during this entire forecasting process? Think of this question like a cricket match where you are not just the scorekeeper logging runs. You are the coach helping the captain and the team read the pitch and help decide the entire strategy for the match. Even with this understanding, many candidates still miss the mark. So let us look at where they go wrong so that you can avoid falling into the same trap. Here is the trap. Most people get stuck in the how. For example, they would say something like, I used exponential smoothing for the forecasting process. Then I layered in seasonality. Then I looked at the prior years for trends. This is like telling a movie by describing how the camera angles work. Nobody cares how the shot was framed. They want to know what actually happened to the hero and to the story. One candidate I interviewed explained every single line of their forecast model. But when I asked what changed because of it, there was a complete silence. Now, on the other hand, one of the other candidates that I interviewed said something like this. My forecast showed that we would lose money if we launched this product. Leadership acted on it and paused the campaign. And this helped our company save $2 million. Now, you guess who got hired. This is the power of storytelling with business results. So, how do you do it? Use the CAR framework or the CAR framework, which is context, action, and results. Next, let us break this down into three easy parts. Let us talk about the first part of the CAR framework, which is context, also known as setting the scene. Your job here is to make sure the stakes are clear. By stakes, what I mean is what is at risk in this situation. One way to talk about it is, for example, I have built a forecast for Q3 for my previous organization. Now, this is good, but a better way to talk about this is something on the lines. Our CEO was about to sign a $50 million contract, and I was asked to build a forecast to check if the demand was justified for this particular deal. Now, that is a story that everyone wants to hear. Here is another example. Our sales team had missed their targets 3 quarters in a row. Leadership team did not know why. I was asked to forecast Q4 and share my findings with the leadership team. So that's how we are talking about stakes or what was at risk. Here is a pro tip. Don't explain the entire backstory. Just share what the risk was and why your forecast mattered. Once you have set the stage with context and with a clear business challenge, next it is time to explain what you solved and where the action piece came in. Next in the car framework is the A or the action. This is where you talk about what did you actually do. This is where you show your skills. But remember, don't get too technical. For example, don't say something like this. I used VLOOKUP and index match along with Arima time series and ran 3 rounds of sensitivity checks. Instead of that, try using something on the lines. I noticed that our high margin products were stocked out 30% of the times. I merged inventory and sales data to forecast where we are losing revenue. This is something which is simple and clear. Here is a pro tip. Use the phrase so that you can link your actions to outcomes. Here are some examples. I built a cash flow model so that we could delay a $10 million loan. Another one. I layered in customer churn so that our projections match the real conditions. Also, it will be great if you can show that you worked with other people in the organization and the business. For example, you could say something on the lines, I collaborated with the sales team to update the assumptions and confirmed with operations that the supply chain team could support our plan. What this shows is that you have business sense and not just spreadsheet skills. Finally comes the moment that the interviewers care about the most, which is the last part of the car framework, the result. This is where you show that your forecast didn't just sit in your spreadsheet, but it led to a real business change. This is where most candidates fall short. You need numbers. What is not helpful is, for example, you say something like it helped the organization or the company a lot. What a much better way to say this is something like leadership team used my forecast to delay a product launch that helped avoid a $5 million overspend. But what if you are very early in your career journey and are thinking, but I don't have a big story to tell yet? Don't worry. Here is how to even make smaller wins count. Even if you are early in your career, small results also count. For example, for one of the NGOs, our student consulting team found a pricing flaw. And the forecast helped the nonprofit adjust early and serve 12,000 more meals. And also, if you don't have exact numbers, you can estimate conservatively. For example, based on my past churn rates, I estimate that the early action the company took because of my forecast helped save $30,000 in renewals. Here is a bonus tip. If your forecast helped avoid a mistake, that's a big win too. Here is an example. My model showed a 42% chance of failure. The leadership team chose to act on this and opt for a pilot project instead of a full rollout. That helped the company save $3 million. But I understand some of you watching this video might be complete beginners and might not have any corporate experience at all to talk about. In that situation, you could use stories from your class projects, internships, or side gigs that you do. Here is an example. My college project predicted a 20% drop in donations. I suggested a small summer camp. They used it and it helped them hit their goal. Another example. During my internship, I built a forecast template that reduced budget errors. The finance team adopted it and shared it across the departments. You have to focus on what changed because of your work, how you helped influence the decision, and what did you learn from that entire process. So whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting out, what matters is how do you tell your story. Forecasting questions in the interview aren't always about Excel. Sometimes they are about the business impact that you have created. So remember the CAR framework. C stands for context. What was the business problem? A stands for action. What did you do and why? And R stands for results. What changed because of that? What you help the company in making decisions or saving costs. So whether you help the company save $5 million or a local non-profit plan smarter, tell your story with clarity and confidence. If you want to practice your own car story, then drop it in the comments below. I will review it and provide feedback. Also do check our institute website www.fpnaprofessionals.com or scan the QR code here to access free resources like books, courses, and templates on FP&A. And if this video helped, do like and subscribe and share it with your friends who are preparing for FP&A interviews. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.